Well, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight, Hockey Podcast Network fans, watchers, listeners, wherever you may be? My name is Richie Suave Flores. I am the host of Sporty with Corey and Richie here on the Hockey Podcast Network. And tonight, strap in, everybody. Crack open your cold beverage. I got one ready myself here from right down here in Arizona. It's from Four Peaks. It's called Pumpkin Porter. It's going to be an exciting game tonight because we're doing a lot watch along. So if you're watching along at home, tune on TNT. It's a national game tonight. Coyotes playing host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Auston Matthews is returning home to the Valley of the Sun. And I have a feeling it's not the last time he's going to do that, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. I'm going to be joined by my co-host Corey Crenshaw coming up in just a little bit. She's running a little bit late tonight, but she will be here, I do promise. So for now, you get me here in the pregame. We got a lot of people tuning in, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I see the chat's already buzzing. I saw Isha was in here a little bit earlier. Jacob is a big, I see Jacob is a big THPN fan, the biggest maybe. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got the game on here beside me, and we're in between games right now. And Paul Bissonnette is wearing a Coyotes hat, like a Coyotes pelt with sunglasses. So we're already off to a great start. So let's start with this, everybody. While we're getting ready for the game, I have a bad feeling about this game from a Coyotes perspective. There's a reason why the Coyotes are the worst team in NHL this year. Oh, and they got struck with COVID too. Pretty much all of their defensemen are out right now at the moment. And I see Kate's not feeling well tonight. Feel better, Kate. I know you joined me and Isha last time I did one of these, so I hope you're feeling better. Get well soon. And I'm glad that you're rooting on the Coyotes tonight. So thank you very much. I see Isha is not feeling great either. Thanks for joining me tonight, then. I'm glad I'm keeping you company, guys. Like I said, Corey's going to be along here in a few minutes to join in on the fun. But yeah, I kind of feel your pain because I was sick 2 weeks ago, but now I'm back and doing this live stream with you guys here this evening. Coming up in just a few minutes, I do want to share with you guys this stream, by the way, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. You can sign up with the promo code THP and got a bunch of deals going on right now. And I made some bets on this game. In fact, I placed 10 different bets on this game, and we're going to get to those in just a little bit as we get closer to puck drop here this evening. We have a commenter here talking about Clayton Keller. I tell you what, Clayton Keller's been good this year, guys. I've been a big critic of Clayton Keller all season long. Like, not even this season, but in the past too. And all of a sudden, he stepped up his game. And, Rick Tocchet was asked about him before the game, and he's, of course, on the NHL and TNT crew. And he was talking about how great a progression that Clayton Keller has made with the Coyotes just this season alone. So, yeah, I agree with you. That's one of the bets I made. I made a prop bet on Clayton Keller to score a goal tonight. I believe the odds on that were something like plus 235. So that's one of my 10 bets I'm making this evening as the game is about ready to get underway here. Peter Mrazek in goal for the Maple Leafs, of course, coming off of their back-to-back last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. And Karavanmelka is your starting goaltender for the Coyotes. So, hey, this game's actually starting on time, which I kind of like. It's usually that's not the case for these late West Coast games, which is great to see the fact that this game is actually starting on time just after 8 o'clock here on the West Coast. Obviously, I'm in Arizona. This game is actually going on right across the street from me. I literally live right across the street from the arena. But instead, I'm hanging out with you guys watching this game tonight. And if you are watching, you're in the comments, go ahead and let me know. What do you think the score is going to be tonight? I don't think it's going to go well for the Coyotes. Again, the worst team in the league. So I have a feeling this game is not going to go well. If I had to put my prediction out there for this game, I would probably go – I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of goals scored here. Coyotes have actually been scoring a decent amount of goals lately too. But I'm going to go 5-2. 5-2 Leafs is my prediction for this game. Clayton Keller with the shot on goal there. I believe Corey is going to be joining us here. I see her in the chat. Corey, if you can hear me, go ahead and wave. Are you ready? Are you ready to join me? Yes. Okay. Corey's ready to join me. Welcome to the show, Corey. Hello.
Hey, nice to be here.
I was. Go ahead.
I had a really crazy time there. I just stuffed a bunch of food down my throat and made myself a highball, came up here and just got myself ready as quickly as possible. It's pretty great. I actually just my parents are hanging out with my aunt in Flagstaff, so I just FaceTiming them. They may be watching, so we may get to see we may actually get to hear some stuff from my parents. Hopefully it's good stuff. So maybe we'll hold off on any Kodak Black talk until later
Oh
in
yeah,
the
let's
video
let's
for
do that
sure.
for later. Let's do that for later. Corey and I were planning on talking about that at some point this evening, but not the moment. I think you're right. I think we're gonna hold off on that for now. But Corey, I was talking before the game actually started here about this team. There was a comment about Clayton Keller, about him doing well tonight, but I was asking what your score prediction was going to be. So what is your score prediction for the game tonight?
I kind of want it to be like exciting, and I know it won't be exciting in the Coyotes way. Um, let's say let's say 6-4. Let's give the Coyotes a little bit of credit
Ooh,
here. Let's give
six
them some credit.
four.
My first initial one I'd like to say was initially 7-2 the Leafs winning. I'm giving the Coyotes more credit than that. I'm giving the Coyotes more credit than that. I've decided to come back on that and say that it's going to be 6-4 just to give them some credit. Why not? Just throw it out there.
That'd be a lot of fun. Now, Corey and I, we were both watching the Coyotes and Sharks game a couple weeks ago, and that game finished 8-7 in a shootout. So it would not surprise me one bit if that were the case, and there were a lot of goals scored here this evening. A couple more comments we got here. We had Vegas Golden Knights fans talking crap already. Here's the thing. Do you remember what I called Golden Knights fans last year, Corey? We got into a little spat with our Vegas fans on the Hockey Podcast Network because I called them the whiniest fan base in the NHL.
They were on a very strong whiny streak. I won't deny that whatsoever. They had a very high whiny streak for a while, and there's always one team that has that fan base, and it's up to them to not be that fan base anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And they were whining last night too, for goodness sake. So a couple more predictions we got here. 6-2 Toronto. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. Okay, now here's this. This Josh, my boy. Josh and I were talking earlier this morning about this. He wants to get me riled up already because if you are a regular viewer of the Hockey Podcast Network or a regular listener to mine and Corey's show, Sporty with Corey and Richie, you will know that I'm trying to speak this into existence. And you know this, Corey. Auston Matthews is going to be a free agent in 2024. And I've been saying this for a while that Auston Matthews is going to get sick of the Toronto market. He's going to get sick of losing. He's going to get sick of the media there. And he's going to do a reverse John Tavares. And he's going to come home. And Auston Matthews is going to be the captain of the Arizona Coyotes in 2024. Hopefully by then, opening up a brand new building in the city of Tempe.
It would honestly be the best thing possible. What a great story, and we've already kind of gotten to live off of the whole Josh Stone thing, right? We've gotten to see him at ASU and, hometown boy, his dad being such the legend he is here in the state. It's so cool to have that be able to be a storyline right now, to have Auston Matthews come home would just at the time when the Coyotes are actually going to be good again. Brilliant.
It's going to happen. And I know we have some Leafs fans up here in the chat, guys. And please, if you disagree with me, give me a reason why Auston Matthews is going to stick around in Toronto if they don't win a cup. And let's be honest, they're not going to do it. they're not going to win a cup anytime soon. They can't even get out of the first round. And he's going to get sick of it by then. So mark it down. And if you're willing to fight me, Leafs fans, do it in the comments and comment and tell me why Auston Matthews is not going to come around here. We have some Coyotes fans in the chat. Let's go Coyotes. We like that. That's really great to hear. This is not a great defense, Chuck. Not going to happen. Matthews not leaving Toronto. Tell me why. Tell me why he's not going to leave Toronto.
It's definitely not because of their media, because he's been tired of their media for a long time. It's definitely not because of their dress code, because he likes the Coyotes dress code. So I have not seen a reason to the contrary of what you're saying, Richie.
Exactly. Thank you. Now, I got another commenter here calling me out, calling me an idiot. Why am I an idiot? Explain to me why. You just can't.
Also,
sit here
they won't be
call
a
me
shit
an idiot.
team. They're in a
not...
rebuild. They're in a rebuild. They won't be a shit team by the time that it comes to his free agency when he can come here. We're not talking about now Coyotes. We're talking about future Coyotes. And anytime anyone calls someone an idiot, it's when you have no basis in your argument, so you have to insult someone else.
Exactly. So we need to be better than that, Leafs fans. Look, here's another one right here. Because Toronto is better. That's not. No, they're not. They still, like I said, they haven't won anything in a while. Coyotes actually have made it further in the playoffs more recently than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just gonna throw that out there. They made it to the Western Conference Finals. So just gonna leave that out there. Still no score here in this game, by the way. Corey, we had some ideas of what to talk about here because eventually this game is probably going to get out of hand, like we said. And I'm trying to think, what did you have anything like off the rails to talk about here while this game is still 0-0?
Off the rails? Not quite yet.
Yeah, okay.
I probably once I drink more of this drink, there will be something that's off the rails. I just haven't gotten there yet.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a highball.
Ooh, look at that! And I got my pumpkin porter. So what?
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's late on the East Coast if you're a Leafs fan. So if you're watching us in the chat, what are you drinking tonight? It's the middle of the week. It's a hump day. Probably drinking if you're over 21. If you are, let us know what you're drinking. Leafs fans are mostly bandwagoning. Now, here's the thing. Now, for a lot of people who, if you are Leafs fans here in the chat, probably not a lot of NFL crossover. But Corey, tell me if I'm wrong here. Leafs fans remind me of, in Canada, remind me of Cowboys fans here in the United States. Where they're just like...
That is a strong statement. To make them the Cowboys of the NHL, that is a strong statement.
Am I wrong, though?
I mean, it's not incorrect. It is kind of a bandwagon team in the fact that, like, so at one point in time, I was spending a fair amount of time in New Mexico, and I couldn't believe the fact that there was so much Cowboy stuff in New Mexico, and then that there wasn't really that much of Cardinal stuff, considering the fact that they were so close to Arizona. And then so then I thought about it some more, and I was like, duh, they have a really good time of indoctrinating people into what they think the Cowboys are. And I mean, I guess I could see Toronto doing the same thing, indoctrinating people into what they think it is.
Exactly. And like I said, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense because they haven't won jack. So if you're trying to bandwagon a team, you should probably pick somebody else other than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Here's the thing. If you're mad that I'm insulting your team right now, try being a Coyotes fan because we get it all the time.
All the time.
Do we not? So Corey and I are
There's
used to it.
nothing like the combination of being born and raised in Arizona, being a female, and being a Coyotes fan. Those are the three things that has always been the hardest thing in trying to get respect around the more national hockey fandom, just because a lot of people are really bitter about all three of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Carolina weighing in here saying this is going to be a good game. And to be honest, I think it's crazy that this game is 0-0 with 11 minutes to go in the first period. I thought Toronto, even though they were playing on a back-to-back here, that they would have come out with a little bit more oomph in their step and take advantage of a Coyotes team who hasn't really played all that often anyway. So, yeah, still 0-0 with about 10 minutes to go. One of the bets I did make, Corey, in this game was I bet the Leafs to have the lead after the first period, and the odds on that were plus 110. So right now, that's not looking too good as we have a power play coming up here, I believe, to the Toronto Maple Leafs, if I'm not mistaken. But here's a quote. Here's from Clark. He says, Auston Matthews, I really, really enjoy playing in Toronto. I really believe in this team. I love the passion that the city brings, Leafs Nation, and all that comes along with it. So what else is he expected to say?
I'm glad he likes the team that he's on currently. This still doesn't match the fact that we're talking that this is years down the road.
Yeah.
He says good things about his team right now.
What else is he going to say? He's not like he's going to be asked about it and be like, yeah, my plan in 3 years is to come back to the state of Arizona and say that like out in the open. That's not going to happen. So good for him that he's saying that. I'm glad that makes you happy, Toronto fans. Shorthanded.
But I mean, during COVID, while there was like that long break, and then they all started coming back and skating and doing all of that. Richie, where was Auston Matthews bringing a bunch of stars?
He was skating right here in the state of Arizona, Corey.
Oh, imagine that. Has a house here. His family's here. Imagine that.
Only thing worse than Montreal fan is an Arizona fan. I disagree, but that's okay. I still love my team. Chuck and Tiner. We have Boom Manis here saying, not a Leafs fan, but respectfully, the Coyotes will not be a competitive team in 2 years. He will want to win, and so he will leave Toronto, but not to Arizona. Where would he go then? Like, what about the allure? So, again, Corey and I were talking about this. More than likely, by the time he becomes a free agent, the Coyotes will be opening up a new arena either that year or the year after. So he's got the allure of the new arena. He's got a team that's going to be on the rise by then. Remember, this team has 8 picks in the first 2 rounds of
and team
that
has the money for it because they've shed a bunch of contracts by then.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. They have a bunch of cap space, and they have an owner that's willing to spend too. Keep that in mind. Right? I mean, they were a cap team. When Alex Malura first bought this team, the Coyotes were a cap team. And he will end his career there. I'm assuming you're talking about Auston Matthews. So you're saying like he's going to have another stop somewhere else and then come back home type of thing? Kind of like Marshawn Lynch did.
Okay. That makes more sense. I was going to say, I thought he just said that he was going to leave. So he thinks he's going to come full circle to Toronto.
Like Marshawn Lynch did that, right? Where Marshawn Lynch bounced around a couple of different teams, but he ended up playing for the Raiders at the end of his career. Clark again saying nowhere, he will stay in Toronto. Again, remains to be seen. I still haven't seen one good reason from anybody in the chat to explain to me why he's going to want to stay. Other than, I don't know if the NHL is the same way. Please, if you're in the chat, tell me. If I know in the NBA, you can offer more money to re-sign a guy who's currently on the roster. But I don't know if the NHL can do that, if they can offer more money to re-sign a player to try and keep players in their on their same team. Jacob coming in hot. You were right, dude. You were the one guy coming in with the hottest trolls so far this evening, saying Leafs overrated, no cup in over 50 years, haven't won a first round since 2004. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Arizona Coyotes have won more playoff series than the Toronto Maple Leafs in the last.
And it appears they're also unsuccessful on this first power play, as it is now back to full strength.
Can somebody in the chat explain to me why? I haven't looked at the stats. I don't know what Toronto's power play percentage is, but I know the Coyotes' penalty kill isn't that great. You have Auston Matthews and John Tavares and Michael Bunting. I saw with the chance there, former Coyote. Like, how can't they not score? Not score on the power play? That's wild to me. Again, I can't believe this game is still scoreless. But anyway, okay. All right, Clark. Here's your reasoning. Let's dive into this here, shall we? He's won a Rocket there. He's been the cover athlete of EA NHL twice. In 3 years, because of Toronto, he's a national star. He's friends with Justin Bieber. Cool. Yeah, I'm friends with Corey. What does that mean? That's great. That's the best reasoning I've ever heard for anything. It's like, hey, he's not going anywhere because he's friends with Justin Bieber.
Well, and also, too, like, if he's already the face of the league and he's used that market to rocket himself up, doesn't that mean then you have choices? It means that you went and you did something good and people recognize you from it. So now you have choices on where you want to go from there. You don't have to. It's like, it's like actors taking a role that they really don't enjoy, but they know that it's going to get a lot of attention on it. So they do it to skyrocket their own career. So that way they can go into whatever roles they want to after that. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I would like to point out, thank you, Jacob. The Yotes are better than the Leafs. Hallelujah. Just preaching facts here, ladies and gentlemen. Isha weighing back in here. I think he will get out of Toronto so that he can and should, or that he can and should other than a cup. So there you go. Exactly. I agree. I agree. Yeah, so this game is still scoreless. I still can't believe that this game, again, is scoreless. I did not bet the over-under total goals in this game, Corey. I stayed away from that. I bet mostly props in this game. If you go on our Twitter feed at Corey Andrew Ritchie Score show, Jesus Christ, you can see all the bets I made. I placed 10 different bets on this game, and of which none of them have cashed right now. Some of them are goal scoring props and points props and whatnot. But you can go take a look at that. Here's Jacob weighing in. It could be because of the prestige of the Maple Leafs, the vibes. Is it just something? Is it like some players playing the NHL even when they could have better money in the KHL? Isha, and he's asked, Isha is here. Yes, Isha is here. Yeah, see, you guys are coming in hot tonight. I like it, Corey. This is fun. I like going head to head with Leafs fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's some great vibes in here today. I mean, people are passionate. That's kind of the thing that needs to happen in the league. People really need to be passionate. And it's kind of the thing that we talk about, like, as Coyotes fans all the time, and the fact that Coyotes fans are some of the most passionate fans that you will ever meet because of the fact that they've had to stand up for their team for God knows how long. And so it's amazing to just see people passionate one way or another about something in the NHL because of the fact that it is competing with, the NBA and the NFL for airtime all of the time. And, I think, as we've said, kind of in these situations like tonight, when the game's on TNT, I think it really does help it. But people were making jokes on Twitter last night about the Kodak Black situation being the first time people had actually paid attention to the NHL that would have never paid attention otherwise. And that can't be the only thing that draws people into caring about what's going on in NHL games. I mean, maybe Florida Panthers games, but, I digress.
Yeah, we'll bring that up again a little bit later in the show. But I'd just like to point out that if you saw the Kodak Black news last night, I was working while this was going on. So
Kodak moment. I told Kodak that, like, their actual, like, Kodak the pictures, that they needed to capitalize on it. They were trending. That is a moment for a company to capitalize on just the word Kodak trending.
And so Corey and our friend Kat, who is on our show from time to time, they were texting me for about an hour straight about what was going on. And I was at work, so I couldn't really figure out what the heck was going on. And they were annoying me. And I brought this up to you guys earlier too. It's like, you guys love to do this to me, which is annoy the crap out of me with stuff you guys know makes me uncomfortable. And that's what you guys were doing last night when you guys were texting me about the Kodak Black incident, as I like to call it.
We don't, so we don't do it because, okay, in a lot of situations we do it because it makes you uncomfortable and it's really funny. But that's usually when we're making jokes about like innuendos that you can make within hockey. People were saying them all last night. You can go on Twitter and see most of them. But when it was really bad was when they were in the bubble in 2020 because we were all bored. We were bored out of our minds, and we finally got to see some hockey again. So it was the first point when we could actually say random shit to you just to mess with you. So that I will admit we do that sometimes, and we have been known to turn on certain scenes of shows and then have you come into the room just to see how you're going to react to them. I will admit to that too. But the Kodak Black situation was purely like, Kat just literally said, go on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, all these things started to appear and we just started discussing it. So at least it was more of a factual thing than us trying to just make you uncomfortable per the usual.
I did find out what happened, and I agree here. Here's my analysis on this whole thing. If we're going to do full Zapruder film on the Kodak Black moment, in my opinion, there was no actual intercourse involved in what was happening.
So
okay?
You're so official on that. Like it's like as if you were in court.
This is kind of a family stream.
But it was just like as if you were in court and you're trying to argue that there was no actual intercourse that happened. I think no matter what happened in it, it is still hilarious that it came to be what it was. Like the fact that all of their front office was sitting right next to it, and any person who's ever worked for a team knows you're usually on your best behavior. Yes. But that was good. But you're usually on your best behavior when you're near all of the front office. And so it is funny that, just to see that happen too, in a sport that is slowly moving its ways away from being very traditionalist and very old school in a lot of things. But it still has some old school vibes to it. So even doing half of what was going on there would normally freak people out in the front office. So it's actually hilarious that it happened. And I think it was extra funny for any of us who ever worked for a team because it just the level of uncomfortability that a bunch of people had to have had in there was great.
If you're watching us here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. And if you're watching us, go ahead and drop a like on the channel, subscribe. We do have watchalongs pretty much every day of the week here on the Hockey Podcast Network. And if you are watching us, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1-0 Arizona Coyotes, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Zingle opens the scoring for the Arizona Coyotes, ladies and gentlemen. We have a turnover from Travis Dermott there. Ryan Zingle gets his own rebound off a weird bounce off the backboards. Ryan Zingle, pretty brand new to the Coyotes, too. They picked him off the scrap heap. He's scoring. Great goal by the Coyotes. Andrew Ladd chipping in there. And
what a great goal. Pass back to himself. Yeah, that was honestly lucky as hell, but really cool at the same time.
And yeah, I did not check to see what the Ryan Zingle first goal scorer prop bet was, but I'm assuming it was pretty good. So if you made that bet, you just cashed in and made some pretty good money. What's wild about this? Look at the shots on goal, everybody. Right now, the shots on goal are 16-4. The Maple Leafs have dominated this first period. They had the 2 power plays, and Karel Vejmelka coming up massive. He's been maybe the best story for the Coyotes this season, in my opinion, is the play of Karel Vejmelka. He's been really, really excellent. He's proving why, again, here this evening, facing 16 shots and stopping all 16, stopping the Coyotes on the power play, too. So this is a surprise, Corey. This is kind of fun, actually. All the trolling we were doing of the Maple Leafs earlier and everybody who was saying the Coyotes were shit and like, oh, it's a laughing stock. Look at the scoreboard, everybody. The Maple Leafs are getting beat by the worst team in the NHL. Good stuff.
Hey, the attempted worst team in the NHL. We have done so many lottery draft attempts where we've done like the oh my gosh, why can't I think of what it's actually called?
Tankathon, the lottery simulator. Yeah.
Yes, the simulator. And yeah, there's plenty of times that the Coyotes don't get the number one pick. So it just, yeah, they're attempting to be the worst team in the league. It just doesn't always work out that way.
And I will say this, that was pure luck what Ryan Zingle just did. He got a ridiculous bounce off of those inboards there to get the puck right back in front with no Toronto Maple Leafs in front there. Isha, I did predict the Coyotes to lose this game. There's still a long way to go, Isha. This game is not over by any means. And we do know that the Coyotes...
Technically, if the Coyotes don't score another goal the entire game, then his prediction can still come true.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Exactly. Corey, by the way, I think we'll do another Tankathon simulation here on the stream coming up a little bit later. We can do that. We can do it live. And we can react live on the show.
I should have brought some shots for that. We're gonna need more alcohol if that's the case.
The Canadiens lost earlier tonight. They got smoked by the Boston Bruins. And so I believe if the Coyotes win tonight, if I'm not mistaken, that the Coyotes that the Montreal Canadiens will be the worst team in the league. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's right. The Canadiens have 18 points and the Coyotes have 17 points. So if the Coyotes win tonight, the Coyotes will move out of the cellar.
Yeah, see, they attempt to be the worst team. Even that they can't get right. See, that's the thing is everyone likes to shit on us thinking that we think that the Coyotes are some God-sent thing. We are very aware of the realities of the team, 100%. We are not thinking that they are some God-sent. We know the issues they have, just called being loyal.
Isha's right. Again, if you're watching this, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for trolling the Maple Leafs along with us. Thanks for speaking Auston Matthews to the Arizona Coyotes and free agency to existence. And yeah, drop a like on the channel. Here's our goal. Mine and Corey's goal for this tonight, at least, is we want to make tonight's game the most watched watch-along in THPN history. That's what we want to do. I want to get people fired up on whatever topic it may be. And I want people to tune in droves. And so far, you guys have been doing that, which is great. I love it.
You know what, Richie? We need to have you ever seen Rod on TikTok?
I don't have a TikTok, Corey.
Fuck, I forgot. Okay, so he does affirmations with his coffee. He'll circle his coffee and he'll give affirmations. I say we need to do an affirmation for Auston Matthews will be coming to Arizona. He'll be coming to Arizona eventually. And this will be the most watched watch-along. Look at that. We just spoke both of those into existence. Cheers.
There you go. Speaking it into existence. Exactly. Auston, look at Auston Matthews go, man. He's so fun to watch. He just ran straight into Karel Vejmelka. But that's okay. Little fisticuffs, Antoine Roussel. Michael Bunting, my guy. Okay, I want to ask this of the chat. Because I loved Michael Bunting last year when he played with the Coyotes. He had 10 goals last year. He was so much fun to watch, and I was so disappointed when he left to go back home to Toronto. Speaking of players going back home. If you guys have watched a lot of Leafs hockey this year, how has Michael Bunting looked? If you're in the chat, please let me know, because I don't have his stats right in front of me. But I was trying to tell people like that was a great signing by the Maple Leafs because the kind of goals he was scoring last year for the Coyotes weren't lucky goals. They were goals that are hard fought type of goals, and he's been scoring a decent amount this year. So good to see him getting in a tussle there as he goes to the box. Shocker. And we're gonna get some 4-on-4 here with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first period. But do you agree, Corey? Did we not both enjoy Michael Bunting as a Coyote?
I mean, I think we enjoyed a lot of people as Coyotes, and this season we aren't enjoying too many people as Coyotes at all, which is kind of sad. There's a few stories along the lines of, with the things that have been going on with Wedgwood when he was able to, be able to break that streak, and he was able to do it twice in his career, and both times with the Coyotes. But there really hasn't been storylines this year and players that you can really get behind. And I think that's kind of one of the most disappointing parts of the season is we are, as you were saying about Bunting, is we're almost watching old players from the Coyotes more than we're looking at some of the ones that are on the team itself.
Ain't that the truth? Darcy Kemper, I've been paying attention to him this year. Connor Garland's having a good season with the
Absolutely.
Vancouver
He's
Canucks.
who I was thinking about the whole time, most of it.
Ulrich Larson is actually not awful, I think, this year in Vancouver. Correct me if I'm wrong, Yisha. I know you have a pulse on the Vancouver Canucks. How about this? How about this name? Radim Verbata.
Oh my gosh. Is that someone we miss here in Arizona? 100%. We still have a large hold on him. We've been looking for the next Radim Verbata since Verbata left.
Yeah, he's the last 30-goal scorer for the Coyotes. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It's just not been the same since he was gone. There's not really been a player that's been able to come in and really be a goal scorer for the team. We've always said with Clayton Keller that that's what they wanted out of him. He's much more of a playmaker, so I just don't see him really grasping onto that role. I mean, Taylor Hall came and was just not to normal Taylor Hall standards when he was here. We've all seen Phil Kessel be average here. He's getting towards the end of his career, but it's it's so difficult because the fact that the Coyotes haven't had a goal scorer like Radim Verbata, and it's been so long since he's been here, it kind of hurts the soul a little bit.
Here's Chuck talking about Michael Bunting, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying him there in Toronto. Like I said, he's a really easy player to like. Here is Bumanis again. Been a hockey fan since I was 5 years old, and one thing I've learned is almost 38 years, all teams have their lows. The Coyotes will have their time in the sun. That's really nice. Thank you. I agree.
That's very sweet.
I think their time is coming more quickly than people think. They just got to find a place to play, which, as we learned this week, is kind of up in the air. But
Yes.
We digress, and it's depressing, and I don't think we should talk about it on this show.
Oh no, not at all. It's very, very depressing. It's such a back and forth, I swear.
Here's Jakob weighing in. I'm assuming you're talking about Radim Verbata. Remember him on the national team? Yeah, absolutely. He was part of the Coyotes had a line back in the day that was called the Czech line, and it was Martin Hanzal, it was Radim Verbata, and there was another Czech player that the Coyotes had at the time that was on that same line, and the name escapes me at this time. Here's Beer Sports Whatever weighing in. Good stream. I watch along a lot of them and the different hosts. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching as we're into the first intermission here of the Coyotes and Maple Leafs, and the Coyotes are on top 1-0 after the first period. Very surprising. I would like to say, if you're watching at home, you're watching an NHL on TNT, Biz Nasty had the Coyotes pelt on his head prior to the game, and it's working. It worked because the Coyotes have the lead after one period.
That thing, I really wonder, how does that thing not have every type of germ and fungus all up in it. How do you properly clean that? Can someone tell me how you would properly clean that? I want to know.
It's true. Now, here's what I wonder, Corey. I wonder, I, I, I think it was 2 years ago when the team was like really good and on the way to the playoffs. That was the post-game celebration, was the pelt, the Coyotes pelt, and the player of the game always got to wear this pelt. And it was the same every game. And you put this on after playing 60 minutes of hockey, it's going to be really sweaty and disgusting. And I remember one time Antti Ranta put it on, the goaltender, and we were in the locker room, and somebody asked him, was like, "Hey, what does that thing smell like?" And he said something along the lines of, "You don't even want to know, or it's pretty bad." So I wonder if that pelt that Biz has on air is the same pelt that the Coyotes used a couple years ago.
Which, I mean, props to him. What dedication, in order to put that on. And, when you're all nice and washed and in a suit and trying to be all nice and fancy and whatnot, and then you're wearing something that literally smells like a jockstrap.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So one period in the books. That was a quick period, by the way. My God, did that period fly by? I'm taking a look at some of the stats here. Again, the Maple Leafs outshot the Coyotes 21-6. Everybody, sounds about right. Sounds about right. So Karel Vejmelka standing on his head in this game with 21 saves in the first period. Again, if you're watching us, go ahead and drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. We have live streams pretty much every day of the week here on the channel. A lot of great hosts here on the network. They do a great job hosting these things. So I'm glad that Corey and I get to do this. Corey, I think you will agree with me that among all the hosts on the network, I think our show is the most unique and the weirdest among every show.
It's got its own personality, just like we do. It's definitely got some personality in it. I mean, probably this past, 44 minutes that we've been on, it actually has probably been the most normal for us and that we have been in a long time. Even at work, it was funny because where I work, there's also you can do a bunch of different things. One of the things you can do is play tennis. And my tennis coach started listening to the podcast. And for those of you that listen to our podcast, we have these random shit stories. And some of them involve a lot of different things. Oh, thank you. Okay, Boom Mantis is now starting to become... Boom Mantis is literally going to become my favorite person in this chat. This is great. I'm sorry, Isha. We will always love you. But he was asking me about certain things about how you get some of these random shit stories, because some of them was literally a study that they did on men's dick size according to their careers. Like, how do you find the stuff? And I told him I don't know. I really genuinely don't know. It is a magical thing that Richie just does and says to me. And how I react about it on air is genuinely how I react upon it. And it was kind of Richie was used to be on the radio like day to day and would do it. And that was kind of what we moved over into our show, because we had so much negative news to tell people that we wanted something funny to go along with it. And I feel like we may have created some chaos around the entire network, though, because there was one of them that was a little bit weird. And if I remember correctly, like, it went to the Ducks, it went to multiple people.
Yeah, there was one. I know that we did one where it was like asking about Disney princesses or something.
Oh, it was what Disney princess would you pay for an OnlyFans for?
That's right. Yes.
And literally other guys on the network started grasping onto this and started giving off all of their Disney characters they would have OnlyFans for. And it was just insanity, like absolutely insanity. Also, speaking of which, fun little fact, I had to explain what OnlyFans was to one of the people at HR at my work the other day. And that was, how do you tread that one very lightly, right? Like, well, it's something you pay for. that because it breaks the violations of Instagram. So the things that you can't show on Instagram publicly, they make them private, and then you have to pay for it. And that was my way of like trying to tread the situation very lightly.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are the first Hockey Podcast Network watch-along that has brought up OnlyFans. I'm proud of that, to be honest.
See, at least it's not boring, It's interesting in its own right. I told you guys, the more I get down this drink, the more interesting it'll get.
And and we still have a long way to go. We still have 2 periods to go in this game. Coyotes are winning 1-0, obviously, after 1 period of play. We got a comment here. Will Toronto win tonight? Well, if you go off of shots on goal, yes. If you go by the score, no, because they're losing after 1 period to the worst team in the NHL. Sorry, the Maple Leafs.
I like the name Macaroni Tony, though.
Macaroni Tony, that's great, yeah.
Oh my gosh, can we stop for a minute and talk about Paul Bissonnette's mustache?
Yes. I wish I could show you, but I guess I can't. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah.
I have had many, many good interactions with Paul Bissonnette. Even the first time I ever met him was a very kind situation that I was in. He had done something kind for me. Or I had done something kind for him. And so he seeked me out to thank me for it. And so, he's a great guy, but God, that mustache is awful. I love you, Biz, but that is not what I would be wearing on national
I don't know what
TV
he's doing
right now.
Yeah, and in case you haven't seen it, this is it right here. This is this is what we're talking about right here. This is Paul Bissonnette's mustache he's rocking on the NHL on TNT. And again, we were talking about the Coyotes pelt earlier. That's what we were referring to. Is prior to the game. That's from the NHL on TNT Twitter page right there. And yeah, you're right. I'm not a big fan of the mustache either. I don't know what Biz is trying to do, for goodness sake. But I think you're right, Corey. I think Biz needs to cool it. Needs to cool it on the mustache there.
I mean, I am trying to keep our chat up here while I'm talking so I don't miss anything. And Isha, are you saying that you love his mustache? Is that what you're saying? I love it too? Or are you saying something else that's in the chat that I didn't see?
Isha, I think he's talking about the yes, he's talking about the mustache. Exactly.
He's getting us to talk about the mustache. It is true. This gets people to talk about things all of the time. And that is one of the successes, I think, of his own podcast, is the fact that he's a riot of a person. Yeah, I agree. That is, I don't, it's not one of my favorite looks. There are plenty of things that actually, you know what? You want something that's probably going to heat up Leafs fans? And it's not going to help in our campaign to try and get Auston Matthews here.
Uh-oh.
He is considered to be one of the more stylish people in the NHL. I would have to disagree with that. I'm not into his style. I don't feel it. I don't like it. Not my thing.
Yeah, he's very unique. I will say that. I'm not a fashion person at all, so I can't comment on that. And when it comes to fashion, in fact, Corey has been a big part in me changing my fashion. I will say that, including my socks.
You want to
tell that story, Corey? That's one of my favorite stories.
Richie wore awful white socks for a very long time, like the ones that you would see like dads wear in the 80s, and we got very concerned. So we threw away all of his socks and went and bought him normal people socks. So if you want to know what true friendship is, it's true friendship when you go and you take someone's socks and you say no. there's a line. We have to stop with the 80s dad socks. Threw them away and bought the new ones. We went that day. I have a picture of him with the new socks on, just sitting on the back of a car, just rocking his new socks.
Yeah, I wish I could find that picture so we can show the people, but I don't know where it is. I think it's on Facebook, but so we'll leave that for another day. Here's Jacob. He wants us to guess his top 3 favorite Vegas players. Jack Eichel, I think, is the new number 1 there in Vegas. I'm going to go with Mark Stone. He seems to be really likable there. And then number 3, Robin Lehner. Those are my 3. Those are probably my 3 favorite Vegas players, I think, except for Jack Eichel. I'm a big fan of Mark Stone. It's probably
why don't we throw a Carlson in there too? Why not? That'll be an extra one that I'll throw in there.
Oh, Wild Bill, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now we have to wait until he responds again to see if we're right, though. This is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know who Dressot is addressing this to. If you can't tell by what Corey and I are wearing,
I was going to say, we are not.
We're based in Arizona. So in case you're wondering, you're looking at 2 actual Arizona Coyotes fans. I know a lot of you.
Flesh.
Yeah, I know a lot of you are like, oh, do Coyotes fans actually exist? Yeah, we do. And we're here watching the game tonight with you. And we like doing it. And so here's his top 3. Mark Stone.
I was going to say Marchessault in there, and then I couldn't remember if you said it or not, so I didn't say it. But yeah,
Mark Stone doesn't surprise me. Mark Stone doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, that's very cool. I thought those were myths like mermaids. I had purple hair at one point, and I do have someone in my life that does call me mermaid, because they thought I looked like a mermaid when I had purple hair at one point in my life. So maybe I am a mermaid, and maybe I am a myth. We don't actually exist.
Yeah. Well, here I will say that, like, there are teams that I think about like that around other sports. Like, I've never met a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. I don't think they actually exist. I think they're fake because I've never actually met one.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met one either.
And here's a fact here. I went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I'll just pick that up there. I watched my Rams get beat by the New England Patriots, Super Bowl 53.
But are you going to throw in the fact that you were right next to Tom Brady?
I was.
That's something to like name drop there, you know?
But during that Super Bowl, I went around and we were looking intentionally to find somebody with an Arizona Cardinals jersey on, because obviously me and my co-host and our radio show is based in Arizona. And I kid you not, we found every single other jersey there at the Super Bowl Fan Fest, but we could not find one single Arizona Cardinals jersey. It was the weirdest thing in the world. We saw multiple Jaguars. We saw a bunch of Falcons, obviously, but not one Cardinals jersey. And that includes no Larry Fitzgerald, no Pat Tillman. And that was the wildest thing ever.
Poor Larry Fitzgerald. He needs to be more recognized nationally. Really. I mean, for who he is and what he's done and all of this stuff. Who is your top for us? Our top 3?
I think yes.
Okay, our top 3. Well, little unknown fact, I used to be a big Bruins fan. So did my fiance when we first met. Actually, they won the Stanley Cup, which was 2011. So I not as much anymore. It was kind of a childhood friend of mine was from Boston, and they got me in hockey and that whole thing. But so I would probably put them on there. And then whatever team Keith Yandel is on at the time. There you go. There's my 3.
My top three are the Coyotes and then nobody else.
Oh, damn.
Oh, the Roadrunners. There you go. So it's the Coyotes, the Roadrunners of the AHL, and then whatever team Tobias Reeder's playing on, which right now he's playing.
Yeah, I knew you were going for that. I knew I was opening that door for you as soon as I said
he's
Keith
playing in the Swedish league right now, if I'm not mistaken. So those are my three favorite teams at the moment. And now you can say you met some. So when you're rolling around the bars next time, and for whatever reason a Coyote score flashes up on the bar scoreboard, you'd be like, "Hey, Coyotes lost tonight, but their fans actually exist because they're doing a live stream on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page."
And this season we are Santa. We're gifting everyone with wins.
Hey,
you're welcome.
There we go. I don't know what Isha was referring to there.
He may not have known that I was a closeted Bruins fan for a while there. That may be what it is.
That's right, because the Bruins caused Vancouver to burn down their city.
No, and that's the thing, is I very much remember that, because the one that I was talking about is the 2011 Stanley Cup where they burned down their city. Like, that one was the one. It was the one that it is kind of like literally months after my fiance and I started dating. It's kind of romantic for us, but I guess not for other people. But I do remember that very, very well. Yeah, no, I actually just donated my last Bruins hat like a couple days ago. I finally... Oh, shit, you were downtown? Wow. That you were like in it. Actually in it. Yeah, I finally donated my last Bruins hat a couple days ago. I'm making my final closure from the team. Because I feel like I should be just a solely a Coyotes fan. You know? I don't really think I should be you okay over there, Richie? Are you spazzing out?
We're just doing some cleaning up there. There we go. That's better.
You need better feng shui? What is going on here?
There we go. That's what happens when you do this for the first time and you get really excited about Auston Matthews coming back home to Arizona. You mess up the background and don't realize it's the correct thing. So now we're good. Had a little panic attack there for just a moment, but we're good now. So go ahead, continue. Yeah. And
so it was one of the things that I got into hockey with was the Bruins, yes. But my first ever game was actually on Thanksgiving when I was very young, like I think like 4 or something like that. And it was a Coyotes game, and it was in their previous arena, which was downtown. And so, yes, I was always first and foremost a Coyotes fan. And no, Isha, you never told me that story. When are you coming to the States to come down and have a drink with us and talk about that story? Because now I need to hear it. I was in a Buffalo Wild Wings.
From Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada. What's the temperature there right now? What's the temperature? Lee, if you're watching us, comment it. What's the temperature in Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada right now? I'm actually really curious.
Temperature here. I gotta check let me check mine. It is 54.
That's Fahrenheit, by the way.
Oh yeah, fair. God, I forget that we have. Yeah, we do things a little bit differently there, or here and there. But the high today was actually 70. That's pretty high, actually. That's pretty good. I've been freezing in this place pretty consistently, so I'm kind of glad to actually have something that's not super cold. This is a sweater that it's not an actual jersey, just a sweater that my parents bought me years ago, and I didn't get to wear it very often because it's never cold enough. It has been so cold that I've worn it enough for like all the times that I've had it.
Yeah, it's not bad right here now. I will tell you this. There was a couple days ago where it was like in the 40s when I left in the morning. Wasn't about it. So more power to you, to our Canadian fans who are watching us right now, because if it, Corey, you know this about me. If it drops below 70, I will complain because I never wear the right things. Like Corey knows this. I don't really own that many pairs of actual pants. So most of the time, if Corey and I are going out anywhere, I will wear shorts.
It's true.
And then when I walk out of whatever bar we're going to or restaurant or whatever we're doing, and then it's probably about 2 minutes or less before I start complaining about how cold it was and how you start shaming me for being dumb enough to not wear pants.
All the time. And you would leave work and you'd be running outside and you'd be cold all the time. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
Where's my camera? Do you see what the Quack Report's trying to get us to do here?
What are they doing? What's that? No! What?
What is wrong with you guys? Seriously. What will the Coyotes build off of? They got no other defense. What are you planning they do?
Yeah, if you want to get me fired up, that's how to do it right now. So if you're watching us, and I was actually reading an article the other day where the Toronto Maple Leafs were actually tied to Jacob Chychrun. It's like, no, you can't have Jacob Chychrun. Stop it.
There's no other defense to build around. Why? Why would they do that?
He was in the conversation for the Norris Trophy last year. And for whatever reason, he's struggling this year. He's been hurt over the last couple of weeks. He's not in the lineup tonight. He was also in COVID protocol too, for that matter. But yeah, stop it. I see so many stories now where it's like, oh, Jacob Chychrun's on the chain block. No, that's for a fan base that has been through so much already. And I feel like a fan base that at the moment is all in on this rebuild that for a lot of people is tough to go through. If you trade a guy like Jacob Chychrun, that goodwill, I think, is gone.
Here is the thing. I even thought about tweeting them back, but I'm not even 100% sure what I would say and the possible amount of characters I need to put it in. But this team has been torn down to what is considered to be more than bare bones. Oh my God, -1 sounds awful. Sorry. But this team has been so far down, people can even argue that there isn't really much of a core left to it. So to go to the point of where you're going to take someone who actually has support of the fans and is actually someone that people can buy into and has an upward trajectory of their career, and then really leave with only Clayton Keller. At that point, you really only have Clayton Keller to really bank on for the future of, being someone that you can market around and someone that is supposed to have a great career. This season has been, but I mean, he's on team. And he really hasn't been having a stellar career outside of his freshman season. And so how do you bank on him doing super well when you haven't really seen that out of him? He's not meant to be a superstar. So how do you build around that? You have to keep Jacob Chychrun. Sorry.
I agree. And I know a lot of fans seem to covet him at this point in time, but again, I don't think he's going anywhere. And you'd be selling him kind of low at the moment because of the kind of season he's having this year. But Karel Vejmelka, again, standing on his head, making some ridiculous saves on Auston Matthews and Michael Bunting, who were right on top of the crease, trying to tie the game. They did not. In fact, the Coyotes get their first power play of the game here. 1-0 Coyotes lead, about 15 and a half minutes to go in the second period. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page. The chat's been fire. A lot of people tuning in tonight, seeing as it is the Maple Leafs playing and the Maple Leafs losing in Arizona, right across the street from myself. If you're watching this right now, keep commenting, keep the chat going. If you got any questions for us, ask away. If you have some comments about this game, go ahead and continue to chat along. we're watching this game with you. It's on TNT in case you don't know where to find it. And drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. More stuff coming throughout the week. My name is Richie Suave Flores. My co-host is Corey Crenshaw. We of course are the hosts of the Sporty with Corey and Richie podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. We cover the Arizona Coyotes as best we can. It's been a long season, so if you can't tell by the show, we go all over the place. So it's a Coyotes show, but we like to entertain as well, and I hope you're entertained by watching us here this evening. Jacob's asking us to put his Mark Stone comment up here, which is funny. I like how you call Mark Stone daddy. Whew.
Yeah, wow, that's fiery. I mean, that is very fiery. Yeah, I mean, I did have a friend a long time ago claim that she was going to do something terrible to herself if a player left. And I always thought to myself, you can't ever be that passionate about a player, but it is very good to, be able to support your players.
Go Leafs Go, says Danny. Thanks for hanging out with us and tuning in here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. Says Go Leafs Go. Leafs killed off the Coyotes power play right there, so it's still 1-0. Toronto. Hey, Neil. From the Devil's State of Mind podcast. Thanks for tuning in, man. It's late back on the East Coast, so thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it. Neil hosts a lot of these watchalongs, and a lot of the times Neil does it by himself, which is wild. And I will congratulate you, Neil, on trying to do this by yourself, because that's tough.
I left Richie alone for like 10 minutes, and I felt horrible. It was like I left the puppy outside, and I was just like, I could just feel Richie crying on the inside, so I was like trying to go as quickly as I could.
Yeah, is this true? Is this true, Neil? Did Corey and I bring you out of the woodwork to come join the stream with us?
I hope so.
That's awesome. That means a lot. That means a lot.
I hope we popped his chat cherry. Like, this is my first ever time being actually on one of these watch-alongs. And this is my first time doing this, so it'd be really great if he said, "Of course, I love you guys." Wow, this is very sentimental. This is a very emotional moment for me.
It's adorable. It's super cute. Let's have a big group
very
hug
sweet.
on the internet. A big group hug.
We're hugging you, Neil. We love you. That is super sweet. Appreciate you coming. It's weird actually, because we would do all of these after hours where we would see everyone's faces. It's so weird that I haven't seen everyone's faces in a long time. Like, I'm just so used to everyone talking about random ass stories. Like, speaking of, Isha's telling me that he never told me the story about, never telling us the story about him being there when all that went down. I got to hear all these great stories about his friends, stealing things from McDonald's, but I haven't gotten to hear any of those stories in a long time, because we haven't had an after hours for everyone to get drunk and share their drunken stories with. So I think we need to get on that.
I know we haven't done one of those in a long time. I agree. Can you imagine the team up here, Corey, between me, you, and Neil on the same show?
Oh my gosh, that'd be great. That would be so good. You have to come on. You have to. That's just great.
I don't know when the Devils are playing the Coyotes next. I have to look it up, but yeah, maybe we can make that happen for sure. Corey, there's 12 minutes and 50 seconds left here in the second period. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 26 shots on goal. The Coyotes have 10, and the Coyotes have the lead 1-0. I have finished my beer, so I need to go grab another one. So I think this is a good time. We've been going for over an hour here. I think it's time for a commercial break. And it's time to tell you about our friends at DraftKings, of course. It's if you sign up with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can do so with the promo code THPN right down there at the bottom of the screen. And Corey and I are going to be back in just a second. Now, here's the thing. Let's see if I can do this correctly, everybody. Let's see here. Here's a watch-along break. Here we go. All right, we'll be back in a minute, everybody. I'm going to grab another beer. All right, everybody. We're back. Here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page, we're watching the Coyotes and Leafs game on TNT right now. Going down in Glendale, Arizona, of course. And we have some comments to check up on here. I went and grabbed another. What's that?
So don't mind me. I had to run downstairs. Mine was a little bit harder. So I just brought up the full thing of whiskey. Nice. And here.
Oh.
And then brought up my ginger ale. And then
Corey's going to make a drink live on the show.
Ice, yeah, I forgot to put ice in, but I mean, and I don't have a shot glass. So we're just going to start pouring here. You know, what the Coyotes only have 10 shots on goal. So let's see, something that's about like 10. Ooh, that's not, but you know, that is about like only 10 shots on goal worth of alcohol. And and then oh shit, let's open this actually properly. Also, good night, Jacob. It was nice to have you on here. And then, you know, that's a little bit of ginger ale to it. Give you a nice highball here. No ice, though. Kind of looks a little gross.
Ooh,
but
yeah, that's playing with fire right there.
You know, what is today? Wednesday? Whoo, it's a little strong. Wednesday night. You gotta, I guess, live it up on a Wednesday.
It is the middle of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when your hockey team is really bad. You know?
You pour drinks.
You just drink.
This strong. Yep.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
We have people who are impressed with what you're doing here. We have Bumanis.
Thank you. We actually started we started going into this whole rebuild point after, you know, the team had gone through a rebuild 5 years previously. We decided that we were going to do a YouTube segment that we kind of started making cocktails because we call it Sporty Spirits. We started doing it because of the fact that you need alcohol to get through this season and probably to get through the next few seasons and any other type of news that's going to drop out the Coyotes. So we are not shy with alcohol in the sporting nation because you kind of have to.
Yeah, when your team is this bad, this is what happens. And the wild thing is, again, the Coyotes are actually winning
Yeah,
tonight, which is
crazy.
which nobody expected. We had some people commenting their scores prior to the game. No, one person picked the Coyotes to win, if I'm not mistaken. Corey had the final score somewhere along the lines of, what'd you pick, like 8-1 or something? Something ridiculous?
No, my initial one was 7-2. So I think it's going to be different, and then 6-4. I predicted this to be a lot more of a high scoring game than it's been. I am actually impressed by the Coyotes goaltending and the fact that they're actually staying in this. So, you can be pleasantly surprised every now and then.
Isha says he said 4-3 Yotes. I guess he did. I don't remember that. Do you remember him saying that?
I can respect it though. It's still great that he's okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Isha is one of the top people that's always been on our side.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Isha's been a big proponent of the Coyotes in the state of hockey here in the state of Arizona. 100%.
Yeah, he's been super helpful with all of that. Give him props for that. Give him props, for also too, always being super supportive of, being a female in the sports world isn't always the easiest thing in the world, and he's always been super cool with that too. So thank you, Isha, for just being you. We don't tell you that often, so just hate the Maple Leafs. Yep, that's all he's got to do is hate the Maple Leafs. That's hilarious.
It's easy to do. As we talked about earlier, they're one of those teams that's has a lot of bandwagon and front runners. So doesn't surprise me. So while we have a break in the action here, Corey, I do want to bring something up here for people tuning in from out of state. I have a quick story to tell that's very important, and I want to make sure I mention it while we have this platform here. So obviously, again, Coyotes fans, host the Coyotes podcast, both live in Arizona. If you look behind me, I have a shirt hanging up in my background here. It's has the number 49 with the name of Cardo. And this shirt is very special to both Corey and myself because Lane Cardo unfortunately passed away from cancer about a year ago or so. And she was a beautiful little girl who grew up playing hockey, was a big Coyotes fan, and she was honored on Hockey Fights Cancer Night, and then she unfortunately lost her battle with cancer. And so the Coyotes now have her name up in the Ring of Honor at Gila River Arena, number 49. And the reason why I bring this up is because if anybody watching wants to help out a really great cause, the Coyotes started a scholarship fund in Leighton Accardo's name called the Leighton Accardo Hockey Scholarship Foundation, I believe. And what it does is every single dime that gets donated to the scholarship fund goes toward getting young girls to play hockey here in Arizona. And so here in a couple weeks at the end of January, the Coyotes are holding a charity run in Leighton's honor, and it's called Skating for Leighton. And it's really cool. It's really great. And it's to raise money again for the Leighton Accardo Scholarship Fund. I'm going to be running in it. I have a donation page set up if anybody in the chat wants to donate. And I might share the link if I can here in just a moment, so you guys can have that link if you want to donate to the Leighton Accardo Scholarship Fund. And I very hope you do, because again, it goes toward growing the sport of hockey here in the state of Arizona. Leighton meant a lot to a lot of Coyotes fans, and we miss her a lot. And not only her, but we also lost another great member of the Arizona hockey community lately. We lost Matt Schott, who was a big part in growing the sport of hockey here in the state. And so we miss both of them dearly. and both of them have funds set up in their honor to continue to grow the sport here. So I just wanted to mention that here as the game is kind of just trugs along here, 1-0 as we move towards the end of the second period. But again, you can Google it. It's if you Google Skating for Leighton, Leighton, it will come up. You can find it on the Arizona Coyotes website. And if you can, you have some extra couple of bucks, please go ahead and donate. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to Corey to do that. And if all of you care about growing the sport of hockey, donating would be a great way to do that.
Very well said, Richie. Yeah, we have recently lost two amazing advocates for women's hockey here in the state, and I don't talk about the shot one very much just because of the fact that it was a little bit more personal and for me and many of the people I know. So I won't go on to it too much, but it really does mean a lot. And so we thank you all, and thank you, Richie, for bringing that up and talking about that as well. It's very much appreciated. To pivot here, because I'm not even sure how to properly pivot from that. I was looking at our comments, and one of them caught my eye in the fact that someone asked if Joe Arpaio is still our sheriff, which is very interesting. No, he is not our sheriff. Our sheriff is now Paul Penzone. Yeah. There you go. That was a little.
Isn't that wild? That is how a lot of people know the state of Arizona is because of him.
Yeah, no, it is the man's like 80 something or other. I think he's running for some type of office.
He did. Now. He ran for Senate the last time around.
It shows how much attention I paid to it. Yeah, no. So I think he is still around somewhere, but no, he's not the sheriff. It is now Paul Penzone. Yeah. So there you go. There's a little tidbit for everyone, I guess.
Caitlin is asking why the Maple Leafs still got 0. That's a great question. I'm actually wondering that myself, because the Leafs are out shooting the Coyotes 31-11 with under 5 minutes to go in the second period. And the only answer I have for you is that Karel Vejmelka is playing that well. He already has a shutout earlier this year. One of the great storylines of the Coyotes season is when he got his first shutout this year. And that's why. Can he continue it through the third period? I don't think so. I think the Coyotes need to score another goal if they want to win this game. Because they're not shutting out the Maple Leafs. Danny says he's still got some faith in the Maple Leafs.
I still think they have a possibility coming back.
Yeah, Ryan dropping in to say, let's go Pens. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for joining the show. Phil Kessel was a Penguin at one point. That's all I got to say about that. Salah says Nylander score or no. Not yet. They're getting shut out. It wouldn't surprise me if he scored at some point in this game, because like I said, I don't think Karel Vejmelka is going to shut out this Maple Leafs team at the rate they're going. Because the Maple Leafs are basically on pace to put up 50 shots on goal, which would be incredible if Vejmelka was able to pull a shutout. There, that's for sure.
I do have to say, though, I am very happy for Vejmelka in the fact that he was not doing very well for a while, and then it was a big deal to put Wedgwood in. Actually, the last time that, Richie, that you were on one of these watchalongs was with Isha, and Vejmelka was in, and I had put in a comment that we still joke about to this day, that was, we want Wedgie, because of the fact that Vejmelka was not playing very good in that game. And I think this has been a pretty good arc for him, all things considered, in the fact that it really wasn't looking that great from him in the beginning, and he's really kind of found his own through the process.
Yeah, exactly. He's, like I said, he came out of nowhere. He was playing overseas before the season. This is his first year in North American hockey, and he's playing pretty well for the Coyotes this season. Boomanis is asking about if you can donate anytime, and yes, you can. You can donate to the Lane Ricardo Foundation and the Matt Schott Foundation at any point. If you go to the Arizona Coyotes website, you can find the link there. Also, in the comments, I put the link to my personal donation page for Skating for Leighton too. So if you want to check that out, you can. Again, it's Arizona Coyotes website. It's the best place to find out how to do that.
I mean, if you want to mess with Richie and make him not be one of the top people who gets donations, you can donate for someone else. I suggest you donate to our friend Jordan. Just mess with Richie.
That's right. Yeah. Jordan Ash-Bolden. She's a former goaltender for Arizona State's women's hockey team. And she's a good friend of our show. And yeah, she's also doing Skating for Lane, and she has raised more money than I have. And so you can donate to her as well. But also getting a comment here. Who will win today? Well, considering I thought the Leafs would win this game, I think the Leafs still managed to pull this out. At this point, the way they're playing, like there's just no reason the Coyotes should be winning this game right now. They got lucky on their one and only goal, and so
yeah,
I don't know
the
how
dam
this
is bound to break.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you again. We appreciate you very much for donating. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If we get anything from this stream, if we just raise $10 or however much you want to donate to Skating for Leighton and Lane Ricardo, then we will have one tonight. We will have won this stream if that's the case. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for agreeing to do that. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to Corey, and it means a lot to the hockey community here in Arizona. What I can't tell what is your profile pic? I can't see it. What's this?
What's this, Sally? I don't know. I'm a Predators fan. That's funny.
The last time the Coyotes and Predators had anything interesting, I would just like to point out that the Coyotes beat the Predators in the qualifying round to make the playoffs a couple years ago.
Nice nod, Richie. I like that.
Yeah. Going back full circle in a way. Again, the Coyotes have won more playoff series than the Toronto Maple Leafs have in recent memory, and one of those series came against the Nashville Predators. So, yeah, we're down to a minute to go here in the second period. It's getting late on the East Coast, so thanks for joining us. If you're staying up late with us on the East Coast, it's 11:30. This game probably going to keep going till midnight on the East Coast, if not longer. So this is like hockey after dark. I like it. Gonna get naughty.
And we could go into a whole new day.
Yes.
We could spend 2 days with the people on the East Coast.
Another comment here from Hope here. What do you guys think of Corsi? Do you buy into that for predictions? I consider myself to be a big fan of analytics in the hockey community. And so, yes, I buy into it quite a bit. Now, Corsi is just one number. So, in my great save by Vejmelka on the pad and another great save with the glove. Holy smokes. My goodness. Highway robbery. Karel Vejmelka. Oh, my goodness.
Can you tell that Richie used to be a play-by-play person for ACHA hockey?
Yeah, I don't really like doing play-by-play here in a way, but I had to do that because that was a great sequence there by Vejmelka. But yeah, so I like Corsi. It's there are more people who do it a lot better than I do, for goodness sake. But it's just one number with a bunch of other advanced statistics that can be used to better understand the game. So it's not like for people who say that's the thing, it's just Corsi. There's a lot better numbers to explain hockey than just that. But
yeah, ahead, Richie is our 100% our stat guy. I call him my stat guy 100% for sure. If you were to put us in like a category, Richie is more of the facts person, and I'm more of the analyzing and picking apart type person. And so I almost always trust him on all of that. But if there's anything that we have learned through the years of John Chaika, and if you don't know who John Chaika is, you probably saw his little article that came out that I have not even read yet because I find no interest in reading it right now. Richie read it. I'm letting it sit for some time before I actually go and read it. But if we learned anything from him, analytics are just one piece of the puzzle. There are a lot of things that need to go into a hockey team and a player, and analytics aren't just it. And that is one of my biggest things on it, is you can always use the analytics of a player in order to kind of predict where they're going to go in the future. But you can't predict things like when OEL's mother died. That took a big shift in his career and had nothing to do with kind of what his skill had shown before. And it's such an interesting thing because you're putting numbers to people, and people can't be defined by numbers, and how they interact with each other and the chemistry that they have on a line and on the ice is just so different. So I have a really hard time with a lot of analytics just for that point.
This is maybe my favorite. This is the best way to describe how the game has gone so far.
100%.
And I was trolling the Leafs earlier in the show. Me and Corey both were. But this is the biggest troll of all right here. You just got scored on by Ryan Zingle. The lone goal scorer for the Coyotes tonight as they lead 1-0.
Who got an assist by himself and the glass.
After two periods of play there. As we're in intermission here, Corey, I want to bring up something. I was just shared a tweet that I want to bring up here on the chat, here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page. Thanks for tuning in tonight, hanging out with us, staying up late. Corey and I, we are the hosts of Sporty with Corey and Richie here on the Hockey Podcast Network. We cover the Arizona Coyotes. Sometimes, unfortunately, we're both drinking something tonight. What are you guys drinking? Let us know in the chat. I'm drinking some pumpkin porter. Corey's got some Woodford Reserve on hand. But I want to show this particular tweet. There's the Woodford right there. My favorite whiskey, by the way. I just like to point that out. This is.
I didn't know that. So that's good to know. Yeah,
exactly. So here is this is the tweet I was sent. Let me share it so you can see it. This is just so good. You can see it at home. I'm not going to read it. Isn't it great?
It's very accurate, actually.
Again, full circle to what we were talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's very accurate. I won't deny that. It's yeah. I'm just gonna leave it there, just because there's plenty of things that I could go into that I probably shouldn't. But yes, in many ways, the Coyotes get screwed over in many ways. So yeah, it's funny because what happened there was abnormal, but also not abnormal at the same time. And the fact that people do weird things in boxes all the time. I think people just don't notice it. He knew what was up. I mean, he knew what was down.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So he knew what was down, and he knew what was up, all at the same time. You catch my drift.
I was asking what people are drinking. We got Boomanis once again saying just drinking Diet Pepsi. I like it.
So, this is actually a good question. Are people Pepsi people on here or Coke people?
Oh, that's a great question.
Are you
that's really
if
good.
You were to go to the bar and you were to order, do you order Jack and Coke or Jack and Pepsi? I am religiously Jack and Coke.
That's a great question. If you're In the chat, let us know. Are you Team Pepsi, Team Coke, or Team something else? I wonder if it's by like region. You know, like some people, because Coca-Cola is like is out of Georgia, and it's like a southern thing, right? And so I'm curious. I don't drink as much soda as I used to, but if I did, for the most part, I'm usually a Coke over Pepsi person. However, I was in the past more Mountain Dew than anything else.
That is absolutely accurate. 100%. That is true. They do have a lot of times like only one or the other. That also has to go with like sporting arenas as well, considering the fact that when I worked for the Diamondbacks, it was a big no-no to have any Coke products anywhere on hand. We were Pepsi, 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 Pepsi all the time. That is so true.
If you got the TNT stream up, I'm watching Anson Carter, Paul Bissonnette, Liam McHugh, and Rick Tocchet try to break sticks. And Rick Tocchet had the biggest fail I've ever seen. Oh, come on, Biz. Come on, Biz.
Oh,
God. Why did he do that? Oh, he says, come on, Biz.
I think he hurt himself.
He did.
He hurt himself.
Then we have this random dude walking by. What? Just...
That was one furry jacket, though.
Poor Biz.
What
he's done.
is going
Lower
on
body
here?
injury. What was he trying to do there?
Look at all that plaid.
God, just amazing. Amazing. Thanks for tuning in, Jacob. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the stream tonight. If you did, you can go follow us on Twitter at Corey_Richie Show and follow our weirdness there if you want more Coyotes talk. I can only drink diet sodas, and I found Diet Pepsi better than Diet Coke. That's cool.
That's good to know. I also, throwing them now at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so dramatic. But I rather have frat boys on TNT than the boys on TNT. Oh, 100%. Like I was saying earlier on this, like there's many opinions about Paul Bissonnette, like all over the place. Out of two of the people on there, Richie and I have interacted with in life, which would be Rick Tocchet and Paul Bissonnette, and they're both wonderful people, and I would much rather have both of them on there than most people, honestly. I thoroughly enjoy this. It kind of actually reminds me of when Richie was on the radio and Richie was like shot putting a watermelon or something like that in a parking garage. I feel like I've seen multiple times of you in a parking garage. So this is much more entertaining. Richie and I, as you can tell kind of from this, we don't really enjoy the boring, like this is what it is, this is the information. Like you can do that every single day in life. Like life's shitty in so many different ways. You might as well have fun doing it, and that's kind of our philosophy on everything. And that's 100% what you get from TNT. And I'm just glad that they're doing it this way. It's so much better of a show, and it's so much more entertaining for people who weren't previously NHL fans.
Yeah, hiring Biz was the smartest decision they've ever made. Like a lot of you listen to Spit and Chicklets, so you know Paul Bissonnette probably pretty well. But we obviously, Corey and I got to know him because of his time here in Arizona, and he was on the radio broadcast and TV broadcast for years here. Obviously played here many, many years ago. So to have him be an ambassador for the game like this on a national level is great. We got Donnell tuning in tonight. Thanks for joining us here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube page. We appreciate it. In case you're wondering who we are, Donnell, my name is Richie. Corey's here along with me. And we are the hosts of Sporting with Corey and Richie on the Hockey Podcast Network. We talk about the Arizona Coyotes, and that's what we're doing tonight as the Coyotes lead 1-0 after 2 periods of play. And if you're joining us in the chat, Corey was just talking about Coke versus Pepsi. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you think of Paul Bissonnette, for goodness sake, and the TNT broadcast. This is the first year of TNT getting the rights to hockey here in the United States after many, many years at NBC. And TNT's done a pretty good job. So I very much appreciate that. So Corey, help me out here. You listen to Spin Chicklets more than I do. What is the? Do you know what this is? The Ronick horror prank story. Do you know what that is?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I've heard a lot of the Ronick stuff. Um, Simply because a lot of them, anyone that I've ever met, a lot of times I try and listen to them, and I can't think of it off the top of my head personally.
Yeah, I don't listen to Spin Chicken, so I have no idea. So if you want to tell us in the chat what it's all about, go ahead and do that because we're in intermission right now. We're getting ready for the third period. Coyotes up.
I mean, I will never forget
nothing.
when Rick Tocchet was on one of the times on one of their episodes. I was listening to it on a plane flight back from San Diego, which should normally be a very uneventful plane flight, but we had a horrible haboob that we were flying into, and the wind was so bad that we weren't going to be able to land, and so they were going to have to take us to Luke Air Force Base. And at that time, you were living like way out there. You're the only person I could think of that was living way out there. So I was like, oh shit, Richie's gonna have to pick us up and drive us back because he's the only person I know out there. And uh, for those of you that don't know, my fiance, he's scared shitless of heights, and so him being in planes is not his favorite thing. It was no joke. The voice of Rick Tocchet was the only thing that calmed that man down in that plane when he thought that we were going down. I go, just listen to Rick Tocchet talking and you will calm down. And he did. That was the only thing that got him through that plane flight. So I owe Rick Tocchet in that regard because of the fact that it finally got him to chill out.
Biz hates his life right now. He's still hurting for trying to break a stick over his leg. Here's a comment here from Donnell. He says, since you got that Coyotes hat on, do you have the Coyotes reverse retro jersey to match it? I think it was one of the best reverse retro jerseys from last season. I do not have the reverse retro jersey. Number one, super expensive. Number two, too hot here to wear hockey jerseys a heck of a lot of the time. And number three, they're really hard to find. They're gone pretty quickly. So I do not, which is why I bought the hat instead. Much cheaper. Corey will tell you I'm a big fan of hats. I have way too many of them. Here's a Phoenix Suns hat right there, upside down, but that's a Phoenix Suns hat.
Hey, in Arizona, we don't have many good teams, so it's good that you can at least rep your Suns hat.
This USA baseball hat. I got more hats over here too, but yeah, I agree. The Coyotes reverse retro is perfect. I love the purple. Love the purple. I wish they'd bring it back too. As far as I know, it's just a one-time thing. But I'm glad, though, that they did bring back the white Kachina. And I know Isha, if he's still here, I know Isha's a big fan of the Kachina sweaters. The best sweaters in the league. And I'm glad they're back full-time now because, God, they're awesome. They're so cool.
I also don't have a reverse retro jersey. I wish I did. I need to get a Kachina one because I really want a Kachina one. But yeah, no, I would say bring back the purple across the board for everything because being a born and raised kid here in Arizona, like, you know, everything was purple in the beginning because you had the Suns being purple, the D-backs being purple, the Coyotes had purple. So it was a state of everything that was pretty much purple for a while. And then all of a sudden they started switching over to red, which was very, I don't know, like everyone else. Everyone else is red. The only one that really kind of came in was always red was the Cardinals because they came from St. Louis Cardinals, you know, red bird. So it's a little bit different, but purple was different. Like outside of the Rockies, I can't think of a team off the top of my head. Can you think of another team, Richie, off the top of your head that's purple, that is like known for being purple outside of the Rockies?
Maybe the Toronto Raptors there for a while.
but it's not like a normal color that you see.
No,
There's a
it's
lot of
not.
red
Yeah. Oh,
teams.
the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings.
Oh shit. That is rough. That is very rough. For those of you that don't know, I am a Vikings fan, so that is very rough of me. I think I've been trying to forget about this season for a while now. They just fired their GM and their head coach. I liked Zimmer, but gotta have a winning team.
So Donnell's staying up late with us. So thanks for staying up late with us. Big New
Damn.
York fan here. Let's see, Giants, and Jets. Sorry, Knicks. They're doing okay
So
this year. The Nets are really good. Rangers, I don't think are doing great this year. Neither are the Islanders or Devils. So we feel your pain
Islanders
for
and Devils.
having not so great
How do
teams.
you swing that? That I feel like that's very conflicting.
Well, I think he's saying that he has not many teams around his area, not necessarily that he's got fans of all those teams.
Oh, okay.
Bumana says blame it on the drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on the fact that I'm you saw me pour this. That's got to be why I forgot my Minnesota Vikings, because yeah, I've got a lot of purple around everywhere. I mean, I could even show you. Literally, I'm looking up, and I no joke have a Vikings Patriots. I hope that actually showed it. Did that actually show my flags that are just sitting there? So yeah, I literally had it right in front of my face and I already forgot it. I am the Vikings fan. My fiance is a Patriots fan. We are both fans of the Cardinals because we're born and raised here. Just before there was.
I'm not a Cardinals fan.
Oh, he is not a Cardinals fan because he's a Rams fan. For everyone to know. Oh, the Kings in the 70s were purple. There you go.
Great jerseys. Wish they'd bring that back. We hate the Kings here around these parts for obvious reasons, but their jerseys in the 70s were dope.
Yes. But yeah, so before the maybe people do or don't know, there was first the Suns here in the state of Arizona. Then there was the Coyotes in '96. Then the Diamondbacks in '98. And then the Cardinals sometime thereafter. And so a lot of people here in the great state of Arizona were not initially Cardinals fans. So that's how I became a Vikings fan initially. And then I became a Cardinals fan because I was born and raised here. But my dad raised me to be a Vikings fan and Cardinals fan. So there you go.
Third period's about to get underway, but before we do, in case you're wondering why I have Tankathon pulled up, Corey and I promised we'd do this early on the show, so we'll go ahead and do it now before the third period starts. This is the Tankathon NHL Draft Lottery Simulator. Now,
I don't think I'm
they have this ranked right now according to points percentage. So right now, the Montreal Canadiens have the worst points percentage in the league. And if the Coyotes hold on and win this game, that will hold steady. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see what the Coyotes' luck is. The puck is dropped for the third period. We're going to do this super quickly before we move on. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, we did it! We did it! And speaking of doing it, Auston Matthews has tied the game at 1 apiece. What a coincidence. We send the lottery, Arizona wins it, and then Auston Matthews scores a pretty goal to open the scoring in the third period. It's 1-1. Corey has muted her mic, so I don't know if she can still hear me or not. But yes,
yes, I can. I was super excited, and then I started reading comments. I'm sorry, but no, this has never happened. We have done it on our podcast multiple times, and never once has that happened on our podcast. So people were able to see it live. Of course, Auston Matthews scores on the Coyotes. I don't know what is there still allowed to be the same amount of press that travels to games? Do you happen to know, Richie?
I don't know. I do not know.
I don't know
I
what
know
the
that I think Canada has restricted their border crossings.
okay, because I was just curious.
Promotions.
I don't know, what how many people are there now, but the first like season or two when Auston Matthews had came back to Arizona to play, you could probably attest to this too, Richie. I think you were there for a couple of them. Um, it was a gong show. So much press would follow him everywhere. They also were doing a documentary on him at one point. I think I may have ended up in the background of one of those documentaries because they were literally following him everywhere and wanted to show him coming back home. It is the biggest gong show when he comes back into town.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it is tonight. Obviously, they're literally playing right across the street from me. Again, I can walk to Gila River Arena, but I did. Side note, in better news, I put out a lot of bets for this game. Haven't cashed any. The only bet I have cashed now is Auston Matthews to be an anytime goal scorer. So thank you, Auston Matthews, for not losing me as much money as I could have if he didn't score. I bet, of course, on DraftKings Sportsbook, and you can do that too. If you sign up on DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code THPN, you can get a bunch of deals going, a lot of free bets, especially for the NFL playoffs starting this weekend. Speaking of the NFL playoffs, I know this is a hockey show, but it's 1-1. The Leafs are probably going to win this game. I have 2 beers in me. Let's talk some NFL. Screw it. Donnell asks if we think that the Cardinals can beat the Rams on Monday night. Again, Corey mentioned it. I'm a Rams fan. I actually traveled from Arizona to LA to watch the Cardinals and Rams game at SoFi Stadium. Beautiful stadium. Loved it. Would totally do it again. This was back in week 4, and unfortunately the Cardinals won by 2 touchdowns. So I've experienced
I'll be right
firsthand.
back, Richie. Continue talking.
Okay, sure. Corey's going to be back in a second. But yes, I was there in LA when the Cardinals beat the Rams in week 4. And so I witnessed firsthand that the Cardinals can actually beat Sean McVay, which they hadn't done previously. So if you ask me, yes, they can actually beat the Rams. The only way to do that is if they dominate the line of scrimmage and keep the ball away for Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense. And case in point, doing that, that's how the San Francisco 49ers beat the Rams. Is they dominated the line of scrimmage in the second half, and then the 49ers beat the Rams. But so if you do that, you dominate the line of scrimmage, and you force turnovers, Matthew Stafford throws some interceptions, you can win. So it's not out of the question. However, I do think the Rams will end up winning. Without DeAndre Hopkins, it's a different story, and I think that's the biggest difference. If DeAndre Hopkins was in the game, I think the Cardinals probably win, considering they were 8-1 on the road this season. So that's my answer. And Corey, oh my goodness,
I don't know how people live in cold weather. These 2 layers I have on right now is a lot. It feels like a lot. But yeah, here I say if Kyler Murray can get his head out of his ass, yes.
That's true. Actually, I 100% believe that. And that's the thing. I think he's going to have a hard time doing it without DeAndre Hopkins on the roster, as Phil Kessel gets a great scoring chance there for the Coyotes, just missing the net. As it's 1-1 right now in the third period. Donnell again weighing in, saying he's got 3 Adidas reverse retro jerseys. He's got the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils. Now, Donnell, I don't think Neil's still hanging around here, but you seem to be a jersey guy, Donnell. Is there any chance you would actually buy the 3rd jersey that the Devils just put out, which everybody hated, except for Isha? I think Isha was the only one that was like, yeah, I love this crappy jersey, and was like very proud of it. So, Donnell, would anybody buy the New Jersey Devils 3rd jersey? It's literally the worst jersey I've ever seen in my life. Would you buy the Devils' third jersey, Corey? I know you. I don't think you liked it either.
No. Wait, was that the? Now I'm getting confused here. Let me make sure it's the one that I think it is.
It's the black one that just says jersey on it.
Okay, that's okay. That I was about to ask that, and then someone had tweeted and said pants, and I thought it was the funniest tweet ever because that was exactly how I felt. Like no one had made that joke yet when Richie and Kat and I were talking about it, and I was just like, I'm glad they had to notify the people of New Jersey that it was a jersey. I'm glad that they don't think their fans are smart enough to figure that out, just as a sarcastic joke. And then it was all over Twitter, and I was very proud of Twitter that day because of the fact that it was so dumb looking that I'm glad that people were roasting them on it because they needed to roast them on it. I will say it is interesting. You know, people always say like, oh, will you buy this jersey and that jersey? I'm curious about people, whether they think it's a betrayal if you are not a fan of a team to buy a jersey because you think it's cool. Because I had thought about buying a Kraken jersey. One, because of the fact that I would look wonderful in that Kraken blue. And two, I just really like the jersey. And someone came at me on Twitter and said, well, then just go fuck the Coyotes then. And I was like, whoa. Hold off here. It doesn't mean I'm not a Coyotes fan. It just means that I enjoy the jersey and it's a historical time because they were the expansion team. And yet people were heated online about it.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't buy a lot of jerseys anyway. I only have a few. I think I have like basically one of each team more or less, and that's about it. So if I can't even buy jerseys of my own teams, like I really want the Phoenix Suns Valley jersey, which is one of my favorite jerseys the Suns have ever done. But they're expensive, and wearing basketball jerseys isn't that cool or great. So I decided not to go ahead and buy those. So to answer your question, Corey, I would say that it is a betrayal to wear a jersey of a team that's not your favorite team. Even if you like the player, which I get, because there are players around every sport that I really like and enjoy watching. But I don't think I'd ever go out and buy their jersey. Unless the only, Corey, guess who the only player is that I've ever thought of going out and buying their jersey when they played on a different team? No, you got it. Nailed it. Do I have my Toby jersey? Yes, I do. Hang on 1 second. Continue to talk. Here's Donnell again. He's asking about the Stadium Series jerseys.
Oh, now I got to pull these up. Okay, too. I literally don't even think I saw these. Did I see the Stadium?
Yeah, he's asking about the Winter Classic jerseys too, which I actually kind of liked. At first, when I first saw them, I didn't really like them, but seeing them on the ice there in Minnesota, I actually really liked. And then the Predators Stadium Series jersey, Corey, is the one that's gold, and all it says on the front, there's no logo. All it says is Smashville on the front. So that's
these are coming up now. Okay, so no. Oh, look at your cute Toby. Oh, well, that means what I have to pull out then.
Yes,
this is
yes.
Very obvious what I have to pull out here. Yeah, I'm not even on camera, but you guys can still hear me because you're in my ear, so I'm walking with you.
My favorite Coyotes player, Tobias Reeder. So that's everybody here is new, so you guys don't know this about me. But if you listen to the show at all, you would know that I am the biggest Tobias Reeder stan in the world, and I will never stop being the biggest Tobias Reeder stan in the world. Like I said, he's now earlier in the show. He's now playing in the Swiss League, if I'm not mistaken. He's out of the NHL, but once scored 2 shorthanded goals on the same shift back in the day. So that's what he's famous for. And then Corey, please explain your Keith Yandle jersey.
Big Keith Yandle jersey. Here because it was bought. I wanted to buy a jersey and hadn't bought one because I was young and couldn't really afford one. And it's the reason why it's a men's small and it fits like a dress on me is because it was my last chance. He had just been traded and I needed to buy a jersey, so I bought this jersey, and it has been so sentimental ever since because of the fact that, you know, Keith Yandle has been gone for a long time now. I wore it to all the games when he came back into town. But yeah, I'm a huge Keith Yandle fan. I am not on the side of a lot of the people that thought his style of play wasn't the style of play of the future, because it is, and fight me on it.
There's a reason why he's still in the NHL. There was a lot of Coyotes fans that like hated him and couldn't stand him near the end of his career here in Arizona, which I could
They
not.
absolutely hated him.
I didn't understand.
It was, here's the thing. I really did not think it was fair to shit on Keith Yandle the way that they shit on Keith Yandle, but then really enjoy Oliver Ekman-Larsson towards the end of his career here as a Coyote, because of the fact that Oliver Ekman-Larsson did a really good job on both ends of the puck, offensively and defensively. He did great for a section of his career. However, towards the latter, he tried to kind of more make it where he was a Keith Yandle type player, where he favored the offensive defense game more than the defensive game. And so for a long time, people were okay with that. We wanted OEL gone for the past probably 2 seasons because he wasn't playing well on either side of the puck, and that's just basically what it was. And I don't think it was ever fair that people who hated on Keith Yandle for being way too offensive and risky in the fact that his plus minus was trash. Going back to stats, yes, his plus minus was trash, but people don't even really value plus minus anymore. And he was a goal scorer. And sometimes that is what you need team-wise when you don't have the offense that you want an offensive defenseman, and that is what he brought to the Coyotes, and that's what he brought to a lot of teams after that. So when Oliver Ekman-Larsson became an offensive defenseman, people thought he was the greatest thing ever, but didn't acknowledge the fact that he was basically a half-assed Keith Yandle towards the end of his tenure here at the Coyotes. And I just said that on a broadcast. Someone's going to try and murder me for that.
Somebody is, we have another question here, which is, who are our favorite players of all time? Bumena says Patrick Waugh, even as a Montreal Canadian. This is an interesting question for me because I kind of came to the sport later. I didn't really become a fan until I was in high school. So if you're talking about all-time favorite players, it's kind of hard for me to answer, really, other than saying players who are still playing to this day, right? Like your Alex Ovechkins of the world and Tobias Reeder, obviously, goes without mentioning. But for us, I think for Corey and I, the player that I think stands out as Coyotes fans is Shane Doan. And I don't know if you could really say anybody else other than Shane Doan if you're a Coyotes fan. He's here for 20 years, hanging up his jerseys up in the Ring of Honor now back with the team. So that's who I'd probably go with, is Shane Doan.
I mean, he I have his jersey actually in my closet over here. He is someone who literally started with the team back when they were in Canada. So, he has been here before the team has even been here. So, yeah, you would definitely, as any Coyotes person, would have to say Shane Doan, and the fact that he is the history of this team. He is kind of a heart of um, hockey here in the state, and the fact that people know him and he has done a lot for it throughout the state. I mean, he coached his own son's team over here in Scottsdale, for Christ's sake. So, yeah, I would definitely have to say Shane Doan. It was actually, um, actually very emotional to watch when he got inducted into the Ring of Honor. I was very thankful to be able to be in a situation where I was working it, and I got to be around all of the VIPs, of all the people who knew him, and wanted to be there to speak for him in it. And it was a really cool moment, but it was also really emotional considering the fact that I'm 27, so most of my life has been where Shane Doan has been a part of hockey in the state. So definitely, one of the best for sure. If I was to say someone, and I feel like it's somewhat cliche when I say this, but I respect the hell of the fact of Bobby Orr and what he did for the sport, and what he did for offensive defensemen and changing the sport. I think without him, there is no Keith Yandel, and I think that there is no hockey in what we see it as today.
Yeah, 100%. Another question from Donnell. Thanks again for joining us, Donnell. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Hockey Podcast Network live stream as we watch the Coyotes and Maple Leafs here in the third period. It's 1-1. And 8.5 minutes to go, and a very surprising outcome, to be honest. I don't think any of us expected this low scoring of a game. And again, just so you know who we are, I'm Richie. This is Corey below me here, where we host the Sporty with Corey and Richie show here on the Hockey Podcast. And we're covering the Arizona Coyotes, so we appreciate you tuning in. If you are watching us right now, you can give us a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do live streams pretty much every day of the week right here on this same channel. Hosted by a lot of our great hosts on the network. Neil does a lot of great work in terms of live streams. Nick Berlansky does some here, and then he's the host of the Penguin Show. So to answer your question, Donnell, the best goaltender of all time. Now, this is a great question, Corey. I feel like our friend Kat, who is literally in the other room from me.
Yeah,
right
I was gonna say you need to go and get Katerina from the other
room. She's going to crush us if we don't answer this question correctly. By the way, apparently the Coyotes just scored a goal. I'm behind on the broadcast, so let's see what happens here.
Oh,
and figure out how the Coyotes got the lead in this game. Ooh, it was a beautiful goal. Ooh. What a play by Nick Schmaltz. Wow.
What a nice pass. I mean, really, though.
Incredible. The one and only thing Nick Schmaltz has done well in the last 3 freaking years he's been a Coyote. What a waste of a freaking trade that was. My God. But Ryan Zingle has 2 goals tonight, everybody. Ryan Zingle has 2 goals. Wow. What a play. Alex Galchenyuk.
What a
first pass up the ice, too. Yeah,
what a world.
That is textbook. Wow. I don't know if the Coyotes have scored a prettier goal all season. Like, that's how you draw it up right there. I don't know what the Leafs defense was doing there. Ryan Zingle just walking in fairly easily, getting behind the Leafs defense, getting that tap-in goal off the pass from Nick Schmaltz. Great job by all the players involved there to give the Coyotes a lead, 2-1, 7 minutes to go in this hockey game. What an incredible turn of events in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
That is absolutely insane. And with 42-17 shots on goal. Like,
this is pretty embarrassing for the Leafs. Now, you go back to earlier in the show when we were making fun of the Leafs for being terrible and never winning anything. This is the perfect example. This is embarrassing. If you're the Maple Leafs and if you're a Leafs fan in your chat, how embarrassed are you by this performance right now? This is inexcusable. Kurovamelka is a good goaltender, okay? He's good. He's a rookie. He's still learning. He can still be beaten. So the fact that they only have one goal against Kurovamelka is just wild to me. And this is insane. This doesn't help the Coyotes' lottery chances whatsoever. And you're ruining Auston Matthews' return home. Hey, but it's pretty cool to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs on national television, or be beating the Toronto Maple Leafs on national television.
I mean, there's still a lot of time for them to lose this. You know that, right? There's a lot of time that they
That's
can
true.
lose this
There's
game.
still 6 minutes, 15 seconds left to go.
Yeah, this is the Coyotes we're talking about. Let's not cut it short in the fact that there is plenty of time for them to blow this. And in addition, I've been saying all of this time that they still need to make these games interesting and fun for fans to watch, just because of the fact that hockey is an entertainment business just like anything else. So they need to make these games interesting. They can't just keep on getting, their asses handed to them every single game. So the fact that they're making this game interesting, I think, is a big deal. So you have the storyline of Auston Matthews, and you also have the Coyotes playing a halfway decent game, even though they're being grossly outshot, which is 100% on brand for the Coyotes.
Also on brand from Hope here, the Leafs lost a Game 7 in the third with a 3-goal lead. There is no bottom too deep. 100% true. And again, yeah, it used to be a fan of theirs. And you know what? I think you made a great decision. To be honest, leaving the Maple Leafs, that seems like a very toxic relationship, to be honest. So I'm glad you left it. To go back to the question about goaltenders, fun fact, we have a figure of an old Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender in our living room of Johnny Bower. So I'm just going to throw Johnny Bower's name out there. I think he was pretty good back in the day.
How am I not surprised that you guys have a figure in your living room? That is the most cat thing that I could even imagine. To be honest with you, I can't throw a goaltender out there, and the fact that that is not my niche. I rely way too heavily on Cat for this.
Yeah, to be honest, I do too. So we're not qualified to answer this question is what we're trying to say. And Isha's correct. Welcome back to the stream, Isha. Yeah, the Coyotes might actually win this game. It's wild. They're getting outshot 42-17. And they're still winning. Thanks to 2 goals from Ryan Zingle. I repeat, Ryan Zingle, who was cut by his former team and was picked off the scrap heap by the Arizona Coyotes just weeks ago, has 2 goals against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. We are living in the Matrix, Corey. That's what I like to say. Sometimes things just never make sense. This is one of those games that just makes 0 sense to me, and further proof that we are indeed living in the Matrix.
Yeah, this game makes 0 sense. But a lot of things about the Coyotes make 0 sense. How do we feel about everyone wants your Coyotes to move? I want your Coyotes to stay in Arizona. Thank you. That is not most of the people. And get a new arena in Tempe. And have you heard about the arena situation on Monday? Yes, we absolutely have. We actually, our podcast that went out on Monday, I talked about it. But yes, we would love for the team to move to Tempe. Even though Richie lives very close to them now. We are both ASU grads. We love Tempe, and ASU is also coming out with a new arena, and it would be fantastic to be able to walk literally from it's actually probably a very long walk, so never mind. Probably like a short drive from the ASU arena to the Coyotes arena to watch back-to-back hockey games. That may be my personal dream. My life may be complete the day that I would be able to do that. So yes, I'm 100% hoping that's where it goes. We will see. They've gotten past all of the issues that they have with the FAA for the most part. It's not been really officially come out yet, but they're basically saying that the FAA will allow it. However, they are dealing with the council members at the moment because they weren't paying their bills in Glendale, and the council members in Tempe are a little bit anxious about it. We're not that surprised. We all kind of thought from a business standpoint what they were doing was bad business, but you just kind of have to roll with those punches and realize that in the end, the Coyotes have the money. Morello has the money. He just opened his own. He just opened his own betting, sports betting site. I don't even know what exactly they are. Like just like you would. We have DraftKings. He has Sahara Bets now, so he will be making even more money than he had before. So I don't think that they are going to be in any problems that way. It's just the fact of being able to negotiate it with Tempe, and then they'll be hitting the ground running, I think, after that. But it's just about where to get them to play for right now. But no, we do not predict them leaving.
I've said this before on this stream and on our podcast. As long as Gary Bettman is the commissioner of the National Hockey League, the Arizona Coyotes will not leave the state of Arizona. Period. End of story. Bookmark it, etc., etc. Corey, I'll let you handle this comment here.
Yeah, I mean, so that there is a lot of reputations about ASU. It probably doesn't help that I'm blonde. That also kind of goes along with the same thing. And I've heard many of them. My fiance, who I dated all the way back from high school, was played ASU hockey. So I have heard from many of the out-of-state guys how they feel about ASU and ASU women, and definitely they've been trying to get away from that. Michael Crow has 100% certainly tried to get away from that. But yes, there is a reputation, and no, I am not like that reputation. There is probably I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Richie, there's probably only about 30% of the actual ASU female population that is what the stereotypes are.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a pretty fair indication. Granted, I was never the big party person at ASU, so I can't. But I'm gonna trust you on that one. So I'll go with you.
No, I mean, my best friend was in a sorority, and I went to sorority events and some frat parties and stuff with her. And yes, there are some that are very much what you would expect, but definitely not all of us. There are so many ASU students, you would not believe it. And there's only a few that are that way. They had the Tempe 12, which is like the most attractive girls that go to ASU, and that was on every guy's wall. But you don't always have that type of person throughout it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have summoned
here.
Katerina to answer goalie questions.
That's fine. You can put in the AirPods so you can listen to Corey. I think it should still work.
Hello, I have summoned you and you have come.
You did. You summoned me.
I said that we had gotten a question of the best goaltender of all time, and I said I do not feel like we are possibly qualified to answer this question the same way that you are qualified. And then there was another question that we had been asked about ASU, which I'll hold on to because I really want to get your opinion on it as someone who went to college out of the state and then went to ASU parties because of yours truly. So
Yes,
let's
I did.
start with the
Hello.
best goaltender of all time. And hello, everyone. This is Catherine Silverman, our best friend, Richie's roommate, and goaltender extraordinaire. She is the goaltender whisperer, as we all know her to be.
Hello, everyone. So is the question like the best goaltender of all time with no qualifiers? Was there any reason for that?
No, he listed off 3 people. Let me see if I can pull it up again and see which 3 he
Was
listed.
it Broder, Hasek, and Wah?
Yes. Those were the 3.
The answer is Eddie Belfour. I'm just kidding. Probably Dominic Hasek. I would say from a an overall longevity and quality standpoint, it's probably our guy Dom. But definitely not Marty Broder, who is a delight. Very nice guy in person too, but very good at staying good on a very good team for a long time, but not the best all time. Patrick Waugh played when it was easier, so I don't think he counts. Dominic Hasek kind of revolutionized the position, though, and we've seen guys try and mimic him for the last 20, 30 years, trying to replicate what he was able to do, and he sensed the game at a higher level than I'd argue anyone else has up to this point, and I don't think we've seen anyone come even close. Broder got shutouts because of the trap. That's a fantastic comment that somebody dropped in there. Yeah, he played on I would argue, a revolutionarily defensive team. I went back and looked one time just to compare him to some Leafs goaltenders who had been struggling a little bit, and I believe I compared him to Jonathan Bernier, just looking at the workload that they'd faced. And over an entire season, Jonathan Bernier was facing like 29 shots a night. Broder faced 21, I think, shots per night over an entire season. And I think if we went back and looked at the quality of the shots, they weren't all that high quality either. No, I think it's probably Dominic Hasek. If I'm being biased, though, I'd say Eddie the Eagle at Belfour. So sorry if that isn't the answer your viewers wanted.
Better answer than I was going to give.
It was a much better answer than we would have given.
So
I could have given an in-depth analysis on how much we hated Mike Smith giving up 5-hole, but outside of that, it would really not have been quality. So that's why we wanted you to come in here. And the other analysis I wanted you for was we'd gotten a question about ASU girls and that they have a reputation and that but I seem classy, though. I'm glad that I at least seem classy. But what did you think, as someone who knew the reputation of ASU from afar to being in the environment of ASU once you were here?
Right. I mean, for the viewers, like, I went to college on the East Coast. I went to St. John's. So got to party more so in New York City. Not a super wild collegiate scene in terms of partying, but certainly a decent amount of partying there. But I had friends who went to UT Austin and spent some time partying there. Then came to Arizona and went with you guys to plenty of parties around ASU and down on Mill. With no disrespect to UT or St. John's, the girls at ASU are definitely the hottest. I don't think that the reputation is necessarily all that well deserved. Oh, look at that. Yotes won. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily anything more than the fact that it's hotter in Arizona, so you spend more time in tank tops and shorts. Whereas in other parts of the country, there are schools that party way harder. It's just freezing. So you're dressed a little bit cozier. I don't think there's any other reason for ASU to earn the reputation it has. But yeah, I think people at ASU are a delight. I think you guys are a lot of fun. You guys work hard at school. I think there's a reputation just because it's really sunny and hot outside, and you guys like to spend a lot of time at the pool. And good for you guys.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you for that. And
you're very welcome. I just realized that I'm wearing an Amherst baseball shirt while saying all of that. I have not partied at UMass Amherst, but I've been there, and it's a beautiful campus. So go UMass. I'm going to leave you guys now.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Kat.
All right, that's Kat Silverman, everybody, making a guest appearance on the show. Please don't trip.
I didn't. I stuck the landing.
Good.
That's
Where are you going?
Glad we didn't. Glad we aren't hurting.
Kat doesn't know her way out of the bedroom. Anyway, the Coyotes have won, everybody. Congratulations. Paul Bissonnette's Coyote Pelt did the job, everybody, and the Coyotes actually won this goddamn hockey game somehow, some way, 2-1. Karel Vejmelka, ladies and gentlemen, made 45 saves in this hockey game.
Who bet on a Coyotes win? Who bet on a Coyotes win? I want to know who bet on a Coyotes win, because that's definitely some money that they're making.
Yeah, I sure as shit didn't. I bet on I didn't bet on the Maple Leafs to win, but I had a lot of bets relating to the Maple Leafs winning. They did not. Coyotes got the dub. Incredible game. Interesting game to watch. I'm glad that everybody got to see Karel Vejmelka perform on that level. Speaking of which, how did the Leafs lose? Karel Vejmelka, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what did we end up with here? 46-18 on shots on goal. I will say my one little rant that I always have about TNT is I wish they would show the shots on goal more, because I feel like that is a big story indicator of a game. But like the fact that Karel Vejmelka was able to block 45 shots this game is amazing for him. And it makes us happy for him as Coyotes fans for sure, because that is a big thing for him. And in a game that is a kind of blockbuster game, and the fact that Auston Matthews is back in town, it's great that he was able to show up. And it was nice to be able to see that the Coyotes could do well on national TV. Like, hell yeah. For once, the Coyotes actually showed up on a time when it actually mattered. I am okay with the fact that they're not in last place now, just because of the fact that this was really cool to see.
Yeah, they did it on the national stage. Ryan Zingle, both goals for the Arizona Coyotes tonight. Thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you, Beer Sports, whatever. Hopefully we do more. I actually really enjoyed this tonight. I hope you did too, Corey. I don't know how often we're going to do this. Fun fact, I can't watch Coyotes games very often because I don't have Bally Sports Arizona. So this was like the one and only time I was going to be able to do this and watch the game at night. And I'm glad I did, because the Coyotes got the dub. Thank you, Bumanis, for tuning in tonight and chatting. Have a great night to you as well. And again, thank you for donating to Skating for Layton too. We appreciate that. Here's Donnell saying, kind of wish ESPN did a lot more NHL games. I agree. I don't know why they weren't doing more. I think they went like a month and a half without doing a game. Griffin, thanks for tuning in tonight, man. Hashtag Darcy for Vezina, always in forever. Griffin hosts the Avs podcast here on the Hockey Podcast Network.
And he is correct. It is 2 Avs games in a row coming up.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention, I hopped on his stream the other day and he invited us on the show. So if we want to come on and talk about the Yotes and Avs coming off of this barn burner of a game, we can totally do that coming up on maybe this weekend. So we'll be in touch, Griffin. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Hope, thanks for hanging out with us. Check out, thanks. If you want to check out our podcast, it is on the Hockey Podcast Network. You can just search Sporty with Corey and Richie. Corey spelled Cori. You can find us on the Hockey Podcast Network. We talk Arizona Coyotes and a whole heck of a lot of other random crap too. We did Cats versus Dogs recently. We did a bunch of other stuff. And And so, yeah, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the game. You can follow us on Twitter at Corey_Richie Show. You can follow us on Instagram at Corey Richie Show. You can follow the network at HockeyPodNet. And if you're watching us, of course, and if you haven't done so already, the NFL playoffs are coming up this weekend. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do it with promo code THPNs. Lots of deals going on ahead of the NFL postseason. And bet along with me. I lost money tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think I ended up losing like $20, $25 tonight. But we're good.
Hey, but the
We're good.
hometown boy got you some.
Exactly. Auston Matthews scoring a goal did help me win a little bit of money. But yeah, anyway, have a good night, John. Thanks for tuning in. Donnell, thanks for hanging out with us and sharing your opinions and being a supporter of the Coyotes here in Arizona. We appreciate you. And like I said, Griffin will be in touch. I'm off on Sunday, so we can probably do that. Maybe if you're down, Corey, we can do a crossover episode.
Love it, Griffin. We'll be in touch.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with us again. I think I shared all how you can follow us and whatnot. Promoted DraftKings. Go Rams. Hope you beat the Cardinals this weekend. And Auston Matthews is going to be a Coyote in 2024. Everybody.
We're speaking it into existence.
Speaking it into existence. Corey, do you have any last words before we go?
Good night and good hockey, everybody.
You stole my sign-off. Take care, everybody.
I did. Whenever I get the chance to steal it from you, I do. And I always do it whenever you're not prepared. So I have to do it very rarely. And I love whenever I get to.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll hopefully do some of the more of this soon. And make sure you subscribe and like the channel. Good night, everybody. Take care.